Good evening and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Today, or tonight rather, we're going to be looking in detail at the pre-mentioned emulation console for all your classic retro gaming needs. So, to begin with, you're obviously going to need a controller of some sort. You're also going to need a PC. I've chosen this Nipple G 300 quid one. You'll need an HD monitor and some cables, and you will also need a keyboard. So, once you've got all that, and obviously you'll need some old games, we can get started, and in absolutely no time at all, you'll be ready to go. So let's rock and roll. Be aware though, if you want to play any of your classic games, you need to own the original cartridge or the original disc. The reason for that is that you don't actually have the legal right to play these unless you own a license, and you only got a license if you bought the original game. In addition to the game, you'll also need the BIOS files, you know, the system files from inside the machine. Which you need a special computer to download, so you won't be able to get those yourself, you need to get those online. I will help you find one of those, but obviously if you can get hold of an original official BIOS, it's going to work much better. And finally, anything you download in relation to this project, anything to do with emulation at all, you must use a good virus checker. You absolutely have to use a virus checker. And the reason for that is, even the companies will try and give you viruses, thinking that you might be a pirate. So, on the basis you have a license and you're not a pirate, let's continue. First thing you want to do is just check everything's working, so just turn the computer on, let it boot into Windows as normal. I've already got a set up account, so I'm just going to log into that. What we'll actually be doing is pressing delete or F10 or F11 or whichever key it is for your computer that accesses the BIOS startup menu, and then changing it to look for our game's hard drive instead of the one it's going to be using here. In addition to that, you probably want to get a virus checker on there. I'm going to keep stressing that, it's so important because there's tons of people out there who follow these guides and that's the only step they get wrong. Trust me, the last thing you need is the government breathing down your neck because you are a pirate. First thing you want to do is head over to batuchera.org or whatever the current official site is and download that. That's the software we'll be using in place of Windows, which will be, the computer will boot into when you switch it on and it will go straight into the game, so you don't have any security concerns when you're actually playing. The obvious benefit to that is you don't have to wait long, it loads immediately, and you've got all your games without putting in any discs or doing anything else. You just click and you go. Once you've downloaded the image and put it on your hard disk or the device you're going to use to store your games on, you'll be going into this BIOS menu here, which on the computer I'm using, it's delete. You tap delete, delete, delete after you start the computer up and it goes straight into this. And then you get the startup, advanced security, boot, that kind of thing settings. So you can ignore all of these, just go straight to boot, or do this after you've made the disk image, and then you just set up the priorities. So the first thing it is going to look for is a plugged in USB hard drive. So that means if there's no hard drive plugged in, it will go straight into Windows. And if you put if you plug the hard drive in before you start up, it will go straight into Batuchera so you can play your games. The method I use myself is you obviously format the hard drive just to make sure that it's working, but then after that you download Balina Etcher from their website. You can Google search it or use the search engine to find it. Download it. This is what it looks like, and what you do is you plug your hard drive in and you flash the Batuchera file that you got onto it using this software. It's completely automated, you just click a few buttons, it takes about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Once you have that prepared, and you obviously set your startup device using the BIOS like I showed you, all you need to do, you plug your hard drive in with all your software on there, stick in your controller, and then power up the thing and see whether you've done it right. And after a while, if you've done it correctly, this is going to be your result. So you switch the computer on, pick up your controller, 10 seconds later, you're in. And this is the sort of Windows replacement, the GUI, the operating system. And I think it's pretty damn good considering it doesn't cost anything to download. It's actually completely free to use legitimately. You just need to download it. The company's legitimate. They also do corporate products. And you can do whatever you like once you've got that installed. So I took the liberty of installing every single game, every single system I've ever owned and have the license for. Right up to, well, I've got a Wii U with Breath of the Wild on there. I've got my old Atari stuff on there. I've even got some old arcade boards. Things such as King Kong, the original Mortal Kombat, that kind of thing. PlayStation Portable. But the ones that I play, I think the ones that I play the most is probably Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, PlayStation 1 and 2. Definitely. In fact, PlayStation 2 would be at least 70-80% of what I play. So I thought I'd give you a little demonstration of how that goes. Now I've got the settings kind of pumped a little bit. It's all going to be rendered at 1080p natively through the emulator. So obviously the game, you know, it's upscaling the game effectively. The game was never meant to be that high resolution, but I think it works really well. So I'm going to whack on Gran Turismo 4, one of my favourite ever games. But before that, I'm just going to show you a little bit of Crash Bandicoot, just to sort of, it's fan service really, isn't it? People love a bit of Crash Bandicoot. So let's see how it works. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk over the music actually, because I'll get copyright claimed. But as you can see here, it's pretty good. It's actually running at 60 frames per second locked perfectly, but my camera's only recording at 30, so it might not look any better than normal. So that's that, and then you can see my other game. See, I dropped out of that immediately, didn't take any time to get started, and then you start and select and it drops out of it immediately. All the artwork is downloaded automatically, and the backgrounds and stuff, it takes a little bit of fiddling to get it look this good. But realistically, it's a passion project. If you've got the time and the will to do it, you know, you can tinker about. It's like people who fix cars. It's just lumps of metal, you're sticking them together. You can't really break it. You have to work hard to break it. Ah, the old PS2 intro, I still love that. Still makes no sense to me having ice cubes floating in a cloud of gas with a light thing, but it looks cool, rule of cool. Little PlayStation 2 thing's cool too. 2005. Tell you what, graphics have come so far since then, almost 20 years, but this game still holds up. So it just goes to show you, even with a low poly count, no RTX, no mesh shading, no tricks at all really. Screen space reflections, you can get away with that. I think they did have that in 2005. But yeah, the car graphics and just the general feeling of playing this game, this is one of my favourite racing games of all time. And look at that, it loads quicker than Starfield, which is written, you know, last month. So thought I'd have a little look around, see what's what. See the old used cars. Ah, remember that Toyota Celica? Ah, I love that car. One of my neighbours had it, I was always jealous when I was a boy. Yeah, let's go for that. Oh, I tell you what, this is incredibly difficult because I'm holding the camera completely steady with an elbow on the table, and then my other hand is holding the controller, and under my arm I have the microphone. So it's not the easiest thing ever, but I'm going to try and give you a little demo of what the game actually plays like. So as I said, it plays absolutely perfectly. It's way better than the original, if you can believe that. It's just a really great experience. So, and like I say, the load times are actually quicker than they ever were, and they weren't unreasonable before. You know, classic load times aren't that bad, really. So here we go. And look at that. Doesn't that just bring you back? Back when games were not about microtransactions or woke politics. It was about you, your controller, and victory. So if this looks like something you yourself would enjoy, I suggest you get yourself on down to Amazon, order a load of parts, stick them together using the instructions provided here, or I'll link some better tutorials with more detail. But yeah, just go and have a laugh at that, let me know how it goes for you, and I'll see you next time. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you have a good evening, and I'll see you later. Bye now. Bye bye bye. Off to play GTA.